Like your call, hold on, please. Homestead? What is the address on the property? There's real property and there's a mobile home. Okay, so, well, we can group them together if it's possible. That's his name? Start the application, and I would need the current driver's license for both parties with the correct address on it, and then also, this ID, but I would need him to sign the application. We'll be right with you, sir. But I can highlight everything that needs to be filled out, and then for him, and a copy of it, I can make a copy of the driver's license. Let me go ahead and make a copy of this, and then you can bring that other stuff back. this mobile home, did it ever get a statement of ownership? I see that there was an affidavit. Oh. Okay, let's just go with that. There it is, what it is. And then the- Oh, okay. That was never filed with the state. I'm just like, no, it was. Always, overlook and do things like that. They don't have a time limit. Then they don't, right, yeah, like, he says right here. That's what they do, but okay. Oh, 65, correct? Huh? Did I over 65? No, 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 I was just assuming, I'm sorry. It's fine. Oh, okay. Then don't worry about this, okay?
Yeah.
I read something about this.
You just need to come in here?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Hey, Brad, you just standing out there.
Thank you, sir. I was working on my Spanish.
On your stand.
I can't say I speak much anymore, but I lived in Romania for 3 years and, it's,
Romania.
yeah, Romania is it is a Latin-based language. So, hey, I printed out, agendas. I printed out, did you print out an oath of office? Do you remember that first meeting that we had in January? There was an oath of office that you had.
Yes.
Can you print one of those out, please?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You need one.
Anything else?
No, ma'am. Oh, and I gave you some of those, I should have brought that, but I gave you some of those citizens participation forms. Can we have maybe a couple of those just in case somebody shows up? then I got agendas, and I got the minutes. So I got everything for the, everybody. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you know, this last time, there was no shopping. One right here and then one right here. And then, that one right here. Okay. And they've been living here for a long time, right? Yes, okay. So, don't even worry about, it. Just put on here, Ben, stay on here, how long you've been on property. Okay? Has she ever had homestead here? No. There's no homestead anywhere else. Okay. So once this is all said and done, like filled out and brought back with the top of your dead, like, what I can do is I'm gonna double check and. We'll go in the real property and the mobile, okay? I went ahead and printed out this, so when I address it, there's my. Deputy Fraser, I can find out if it's qualified in the whole thing, okay? There's no problem. Right. It probably still will not come together, but the exemption will go on both, so you'll see the breakdown. Unless it's real property, and I can ask, once I get everything back, I can double check, might be qualified to put it on in real property. I just have to double check with the home, since it's a very, very old trailer, okay. You're welcome, so. Okay. And we close at 5.
Oh,
But yeah, you can just get the back of that. Have to be a text, I gotta, board and the driver's license. Yeah. Okay, thank you, The whole time, I left here inside of the phone. I'm playing around. Getting a headache in a height that's been hard. You'll have to do $8,000. This is Kristen.
Nancy,
Yes. So I have these, I know if this.
I remember I gave you one the other day. No, I gave lots of posts on it, but it was a, let's see, I got it. That's okay, we can use whatever, we're not safe concerns. And you said that you need to, yeah, I know y'all need to get the signatures over
Yeah.
as quick as you can. So that is one of the very first things that we're gonna do. So,
Wonderful, yeah, I have.
yes, ma'am, side each other.
So I do have this statement of officer, and then I have the oath of office.
And
I
that's some
believe it
Christmas.
looks like to be,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not sure, but I believe it's.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find the one.
No, don't worry about it. Oh, we're fine. I'm not so concerned.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, that's what I said, if you have your homestead. You're just on that, on a DA, you're allowed to do your homestead and your DA and your. What is your picture ID, what address do you use for your? Okay. You can't homestead unless it's your primary.
You would, it would need to be in writing, you can, do it via email.
You can only homestead your primary address.
To that?
Your 100%, your address.
Send it to us with the property ID number or the property address and.
With that, you
address,
can have
your
a
address
homestead,
and copy of
and
the
then you can put your VA on there as well. That would be your primary. If you just wanting to put your VA, once your 100%, without it being your actual homestead home, because CAD, then
gmail.com.
this would be just a $12,000 off.
They're all done.
That you can't homestead a home. Primary. It's where I will ask you homesteading, you go ahead and, the primary, the primary. That's where your address. I would agree to help you, that's why that's the. And you can't take up, the tax assessment also is, the one that can be, not about, we don't do that, that's a question. But, that I do. Again, with your home,
It's
with your homestead being in place, and not having a training there, they're going to have to.
Make sure you're all over your games. Correct.
So, what everything else is, just go ahead and your addresses on both of y'all documents, because, yeah, I want it as well. Here we go.
Yes, ma'am. Perfect. Thank you.
Nancy?
Yes, ma'am. I'm coming.
If there's a meeting on that girl, let them know.
Hi.
That part is not.
You a citizen?
No, she's a board member.
Okay.
Any sign seat? No?
Have a seat. You have to, that's good, perfect, you're sitting there, because underneath there is your oath of office. We're gonna ask you to pray today. How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Did you volunteer for this?
And I got voluntold for that,
Okay.
but it's good, and
No, I'm really happy that you're here, because I think your background is really, is good for this, because it's all about checks and balances to make sure they're like, yeah, okay.
you want me to go ahead and take one of these?
Yeah, no, they're all yours,
Oh,
that you're gonna need to sign. And
You can get on.
you can read them now and sign them. You don't have to like, I have it as an agenda item, but it's not that you have to do it. When it comes up, and have pressure, everybody looking at you.
Okay, so just go to your, UV there, there's log in, Google, and it'll bring you up one, and then you will put in change your address. But you have to have a picture ID in front of you, because there's a time, I don't know if it's red or blue, you know, but there's a number, that's a very long number that you have to put in, to change it online. And, you can only use a picture of the hard copy, but at least you can get that address change and then the paper copy. You can send it back. So with that being said, you will have to go ahead and pay your taxes because you're not due by February 21st of this year. So they're not postmarked by the 31st. So get those taken care of, but like I said, you really all of that. You gotta go back to August.
Okay, hold on back. You are? Okay.
Thomas,
Not to when they decide, because it's before you purchase.
Is the right title of the position, or is it just board member?
it's director.
Can't go for.
Yeah, Aransas County CAD director.
Morning.
Hello, Thomas.
Hey there, how
Sir.
you doing? Very good. You got everything all turned around the other direction this time. Where do you want me to?
Wherever you like, sir.
Okay.
This is Nikki Yarnell.
Hi.
She is our new appointee
Excellent.
by by the school board. I will send this to you.
Okay.
But I am working up I'm working up the structure on how we will go about reappointing people for next year.
Okay, good.
I looked over it. It seems to me that basically everybody in the district can appoint a single person. Conservation districts, which I believe the navigation district is a conservation district. Lamar Improvement District is a conservation district, and Aransas County, and the Aransas Mud is a conservation district. That they get to collectively appoint one person. And it's who gets over 10% of the vote on the collective vote gets to decide.
Okay.
So, and basically the Aransas County Navigation District is after the school board, the county, the city, it's the fourth largest entity. So they'll just naturally be the one who would appoint somebody. And on the back side, I did the calculation of the math just because I wanted entities to know what it looked like in the statute. And then I put down, this is a timeline appointing director only for the main entities, not the conservation districts. I'll do one special for them.
Straight out of statute.
Yes, sir. That's my dad. I'm gonna try to make a job.
I love it.
Yes.
Some of that's a final say, less work for me to do, as much as you pay me.
That's actually good what the judge, no, that is what the judge told me. So just to catch you up,
Okay, so.
Ray has become, do you know Ray Preston? Okay, good. Ray has become our interim chief appraiser.
Right.
We will go out for we'll go out for a job search for a chief appraiser to fit the position. We contract out to do certain appraising for certain private companies, one called Pritchard and Abbott. They do our agriculture, they do these. So he is helping us put together a job description. The board will need to decide. I don't think the board has ever really gone out and done this before. So we're gonna have to put a job description. I've already talked to some listservs that we can put it on. So my hope is that we go out for a job search and raise the best candidate. But I feel like the board needs to, the board needs to go out for a legitimate job. Right? If the school board did that, there wouldn't be a problem, or burn. So. I know, I know.
Yeah,
Okay,
so my uncle worked for the appraisal district, but it was when I was a young kid, but he worked there forever. I think he retired from there, but he was never the chief appraiser. He just was one of the people.
where's this at?
Here.
Oh, here.
Yeah, my family's all from here.
What year did you graduate high school?
97.
Okay, okay, I graduated in 91.
Yeah, Ray's gotta be, gosh, 95, 93.
Yeah,
He was
okay.
with my brother.
Okay, that's good.
So I will send you that, but so we'll.
So Matt
Sorry, the address.
Boker grew up here when he was little, and he left in high school. He went to Victoria. I went to Victoria too, different time periods.
Mhm.
I moved to here, so his family's from here.
And that's not who this gentleman was, though, right?
No, that's our lawyer.
Okay.
Oh, our lawyer's Thomas. When we first came on, we have a tax attorney and the representation was so. I went out and I talked to people across the South, and I wanted somebody who was a local lawyer that we could ask questions to, especially now considering we're going through the change of Mike, we're planning the chief appraiser, and also our finances. Our financial reporting tools are really bad. And we've had issues as in not following the policy. We have a couple of employees who have 65 and 80 days of comp time saved up and doing things that and that is an instant. So things are sort of in the state of delay. What I'd really like to see is, hey Matt,
Hey, how's it going?
these are the clips of that put together, like operating. We're one of the few appraisal groups that does not have standard procedures for the board, but we should do.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Nikki Arnold.
Matt Oker, good to meet you.
She graduated in 97 from here.
Oh, yeah? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like that. She's gone far.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, how you doing, man?
Hey, Ray.
Can I be here as the public?
Sure, please.
How about, is that a good public seat right there?
Man, you don't even, if we don't have enough people, you can even sit up here at the table.
Well, I don't want to be in business.
No.
It should be always open to the
You're not in our business.
public is the only.
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll confuse people watching in.
Hey, Steve,
Hi,
you can hear us, okay?
I can.
Okay, the meeting hasn't kicked off yet, just do your thing for a second, okay?
Okay, sure.
Hey, give me the volume check, Steve, again, Mr. Fisher.
Excuse me?
Volume check me a couple times, just say something silly.
Oh, okay, yeah, this is me. Look
Okay,
like, I don't look like blurry in the picture.
okay, that's
Good
perfect,
volume on these meetings anyways, half the time.
that's perfect, thank you.
Whatever we.
We're good, bud, thank you.
All right, so we do have, Anna Markle said she wouldn't be here. We do have, I did remind Mr. Lambert that we're having a meeting. I'll give him another 5 minutes before we start. Yeah, okay.
Is Darnell?
Yarn.
Yarno. Is Miss Yarno replacing Megan? So we do have one.
We do have quorum. I
Okay,
understand.
great, thank you for being here.
Yes, she,
Yeah. That's really
I got
good,
out to
honestly,
12:15, but luckily I was able to
did
go.
Michaela tell you?
Yes, she's out of town and on her way back from Colorado,
So-
and I was looking on the website last week, like.
Yeah,
I So I
didn't.
texted her, and she said, oh my goodness, did Nikki know about the meeting? She was like, yes. No, she did not.
She does now. She does now.
Okay,
Yeah, well, thank you for being here, that's important. Thank
all right. So since we do have quorum, we'll let Mr. Lambert come in afterwards. I will, start the invocation. And then, dear God, please help those who are in LA and suffering the way they are. It's tragic what's happened to them. And they're gonna need a lot of things, but mostly they're gonna need your strength.
Mm.
Please help us as we go through this meeting. Let us go through it with correct intentions in our hearts and make decisions that are within your will and follow your guidance. Amen. Okay. All right,
So can we have roll call for the records?
so roll call, Kevin Lambert. Here. Colleen Butterbaum. Matt Oker.
I am here.
Jeff Hutt, I am present. We are currently, missing Anna Marshall. I'd like to welcome our our newest member of the board. She has signed the forms already. So she's already taken that action item. Would you like to? Okay. Would you like, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah.
So,
Nikki Arnold, and I'm the new school board representative.
Oh, you see,
Can you-
I was unclear on that. I thought she was just sitting in on Michaela's behalf, but Michaela
I will be the
has resigned
representative
from the
now.
board and is very good. All right, so welcome.
so if I could, she comes from a law enforcement background.
Okay.
So she, I have really high hopes that, the effort to kind of get things in order, that she's gonna be a good advocate for that. But welcome to the board.
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay, so make a motion that we administer the oath to the new board members.
Yes.
Got a second by Colleen, all in favor? All in favor, nay. If you can't vote, yeah.
No citizens to be heard?
No citizens to be heard. Okay, so discuss, excuse me, Steve, Mr. Fisher.
Yes,
All right, did you want to speak at Citizens Be Heard, or are you just hanging out listening to the meeting?
oh no, I signed up. I signed
Oh,
up.
I am sorry,
Speak for a
Steve.
couple of minutes. No rush, no big deal.
We will move it. Go ahead. Are you on? Oh, I didn't see you back there, sir. Thank you. All
All
right,
right,
I'm gonna move to where I can see you.
sure, Jeff.
All right. Yes, sir. Can you just state your name for the record, sir?
Steve Fisher,
Fisschcher.
Fischer, yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. Should I go?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, all right, well, first, the case I had, against you guys has been signed and terminated, so it's over. I wanted to, I know it's sort of a thankless task to be on there. I was on the school board, so you got a new person from the school board. That's almost as unfun as this would be. I wanted to commend a couple of people because you probably don't hear good stuff about yourself, but also I wanted to show you or maybe give you some suggestions on how you can address a problem that I understand that you have, and that problem is a skyrocketing legal budget. So, and I'll use them as examples. You have a guy named Aaron Burke, whatever. Eamon, there we go. And both the attorneys on the other side and myself were just really impressed on both the kind of research he did, the kind of understanding of the case, and just how easy he was to deal with. That's really important because I'm going to tell you about another case where just not in your district in San Pat, where the opposite happened. The same thing with the attorney that represented you from the same firm that usually represents you, Eric Reese. We saved a lot of money by not having to do so much discovery, not having depositions. So this case was relatively inexpensive. And when you have people you can trust on the other side, like Mr. Reese or Mr. Burke, you can sort of confide and get to some of the issues and decide them casually without emotion in a hearing. So what's the opposite? The opposite, which and I'll show you how you can maybe do something about it, would be Setliff versus um, San Patricio CAD. And to look it up, it'd be S19-5974 CVB. I was on that case for a while, and the reason why it's the opposite is everything is hostile. There have been 81 notices of deposition and just about as many challenges. So what does that mean? You're not lawyers, you know. It means like the one or two that I did, you spent 8 hours on one deposition. That means you're paying attorneys whatever their fee is times 8 hours plus to come from Austin to the court and back. Now you're going to have here, not you, but they are going to have hearings on these motions to quash the depots. Why do they need those depots? Why do they need so many? And I can't imagine what this case is costing. It's going on for years. It started before my case, which of course is already done. So what can you guys do as an appraisal board, to cut down costs? If someone on your board, or if you had a little audit committee, could look at some of the cases that are filed, that are pending, and just sort of monitor just a little bit. Have there been requests for depositions and are they needed? Is this a simple case or do you need to spend money on all these motions? How much of this could be just settled informally, like my case? Because, you don't have to be a math major to know that 80 depositions, even if they're only 40 hours each and travel, is going to cost Sam Pat a fortune. And a lot of it is because some of the parties were hostile, which is why I like Eric Reese and Mr. Burke. And Ray, who the active guy, who also seems very nice because they can get to the bottom of it. They want to solve it. They want to be fair. Um, and that's really just about all I have to say. I feel bad that your budget is hard. I feel bad that people are always complaining. Um, so that's it, really. I didn't need my 3 minutes.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate you taking the time and like talking to us about that. It's definitely a concern, but thank you, sir.
All right, take care. Bye bye.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Okay, so.
Sorry for being late. I didn't time myself very well.
You didn't say that, sir.
You beat me.
Can we sign? And we can-
Yeah, we'll just.
Yes, if you could just, Ray, could you, this is her signed, oath of office at the end of the
Oh,
meeting.
yeah.
Can we just, okay, so, next on the agenda for the action items is discuss and take possible action on improving the minutes from the following December 5th, 2024, December 23rd, 2024. I make a motion that we approve them. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Do this now, so. We can, oh. So, approved. And if we could get this to them as quickly as we can, so they can get this on the road.
Is it, sign limit stuff?
Yes, sir.
The bank. I'll just read it, okay, that'll be better.
Yeah, they just want you to sign that once.
But they also asked for all of us to go together. That's probably not gonna happen.
I'll take it, I'll take it down.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
You have to declare a posted meeting.
Oh, no, sorry, no, not all of y'all, that's hilarious.
The signatories?
Oh,
There you
because
go.
they only want to deal with it one time.
Yes.
Got it. That makes a little more sense.
Okay,
If we're not sure.
so the next agenda item is to discuss action on electing a chairman and a secretary as required by state students to do, the state statute, to do in the board's first meeting of the year. All right, so I will not be reappointed, or I will not stay on the board past a reappointment by the county. The county decided they did not like the job that I was doing, and they decided to replace me with somebody else.
You know that happened?
What?
And you know that happened?
Well, they're gonna take applications. I do not think I have the votes to, I don't think I have the votes to get the application. So, what this means is that that I could possibly, I'll be here for the next meeting, maybe the next 2 meetings. So a month from now, possibly, but at that time.
That one, all the other representatives too.
That will be, well, it's all kind of jacked up. It's only one representative. Will be replacing me.
Okay.
Okay, so because of that, I mean, the board has to decide like who's gonna be, since it's a single agenda item. I mean, as like somebody who served on the board, I would say that, Colleen is willing to do the minutes and willing to be the secretary, and like, that she should be reappointed. Now, that's my opinion now, and we can make motions and we can discuss, you can say what you want to say, but my other thing is that if I'm not gonna be the chairman, we only have 2 individuals here who have any length and could actually be a better chairman than me regardlessly, but that's not, that nobody's gonna disagree with me. So I think really, we have to look at either, Mr. Oker or Mr. Lambert. And y'all have to hash it out yourselves.
Just, can I ask a question real quick?
Yes, sir.
There's not did you look at this, Jeff? Is there not a requirement for a, second in command?
No, there is not.
So the requirements are secretary, chairman, those are the requirements, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know why that was done. That was just
something,
that was one of the things we did.
okay.
So we really like a vice chair.
Like a vice chair. Yeah, it's not required.
Are we
Good.
ready to make a motion?
You have to make a motion or talk or like,
Yeah, well, it's probably best if we have a motion, a second on the floor, but, my thought is, I'm just gonna make the motion and I'll expand on it. I'm gonna go ahead and move to, reappoint Jeff Hutt as our chairman for the current year.
Second motion.
My thinking on that is, I don't see any reason for us to change. If someone else forces change upon us, then that's their prerogative to do that, and they can live with those consequences. But I'm not gonna do the job for them. If they wanna come cut off my arm, I'm not gonna go ahead and take the first slice for them. I think you've done an admirable job as chairman. I think you have more of a passion for this than probably the whole rest of us collectively, and I say that meaning that I have quite a bit of passion for it. But I think you've done a lot of legwork. I think a lot of things have been unfairly tossed your direction. We all make mistakes. Some of the criticism may be earned, but I don't think the majority of it is. And I think we are headed in a new direction with leadership from an employee perspective here at the district. We all know that. Mr. Presley is gonna be interim, and I hope will be confirmed as our full-time chief appraiser. And I think we're pulling the cart in the right direction right now. And, I don't see any reason for us to make a wholesale change when it comes to the leadership of this board. So those are my thoughts on it.
I don't know anything about what would happen if we appoint him now, and then they do change the representative. Would we vote again on that position?
At that time, you reorganize and do the same thing over.
I concur with Matt.
All right, got a motion on the table. All in favor?
Uh,
I will abstain.
You gonna stay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Okay. All right, so,
Colleen, remind me, did that motion include the secretary or just the?
Oh.
Just-
Yeah, only.
Yes.
Right, so we.
so I make a motion that we reappoint Colleen as a secretary. Second. Okay, got a motion on the table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor? All opposed, nay. All right. Nobody wants that job. Okay. Okay, so, so the agenda item is discuss and take possible action regarding contract letter of engagement with CAD Accounting to provide accounting and bookkeeping services to the Aransas County Appraisal District for the year 2025. So I had brought this idea up to Ray early in his tenure. Ray, the reason behind this was I felt, okay, first of all, I'm gonna say this. No slight to the district at all in this. But I think previously that we were not getting the financial documents in a manner that best allowed us to make the best decisions. I felt that we were spending a lot of time in-house doing accounting work that a normal business our size would have outsourced. Nancy, we had a bookkeeper for X amount of years, Josie, who retired at the end of this year. Nancy is a capable individual. Nancy has 13 years with the Bayer CAD, answering questions, doing customer service, these things. We were going to tie her down in a position that she was not trained for on the outside. And there was also some, and I'll say there was some accounting issues that we had, such as the owner of our QuickBooks was somebody who had retired a couple of years ago, I believe. Is that correct, Ray, when I say that? Lomatch?
Oh gosh, that's been a long time.
Yeah, there was, QuickBooks is, difficult to, we ran into problems with QuickBooks. And so I think what happened, Jeff, I'll be brief. I think what happened in the past is somebody ran into problems and potentially gave up fixing it. That's what I think.
Okay.
Because QuickBooks puts up a pretty good, stone wall about change. And so, we're dealing with that now.
So we've moved on with the accounting. I also talked to Gary and he said some of the accounting that we were getting, it wasn't incorrect. It just wasn't presented in the best way. I asked Gary to have a letter of engagement prepared for us today. He was not comfortable with getting it today. However, he did say this, that he believes he can do it. He believes it will cost the board between $550 and $650 a month. Which would be, drastic benefit to our bottom line. And that he just would like to, if he starts, he would like to officially take over on April 1st. He would go back and redo the books. But he feels that just we write checks for payroll, we write checks for everything. It's our in-house accounting is very cumbersome. And that's just, that happens a lot. It's nobody's fault of his own. Of their own, but we can move forward this. Ray, I'm gonna go ahead and let you have the floor now and talk about it.
I'll try to be brief. I think that one thing I want to say to everybody, this is really important to me, is Gary and I have been friends, close friends for a long time, and I want to be out in the open. I did not solicit this from Gary. I don't think it would go well for me in the court of public opinion if I was the person who initiated this. I want y'all to know that I was not, and I wouldn't in a million years. The Presleys and the Cates have been friends since our kids were born, kind of thing. And so I want to be transparent about that. It is one of those things that sounds like it's nothing, and then one day all of a sudden, look what he did. Why did he do it and all that? And the truth is I didn't do it. I think that I have two views of this. If this helps us free up Nancy to do appraisal district work, then I love it. My only resistance is something that I've been noticing, and you talked about just passion. I can't be sped up too much. That's all. So this idea of doing it, when it speeds me up, then I start to become resistant to it. I have a lot to do. And so this is an added thing. My goal is to get notices out and appraise the county and handle exemptions. This is on top of that. And I talked to Gary about it today. We had a long conversation today. I gave him permission to talk to our auditor, Jeff, and they're going to talk. We're going to try to get all our ducks in a row and try to really understand. I am of the opinion, I'll tell y'all in case this comes up, I've told Gary that his price seems low to me. That seems like a low amount of money. He keeps reassuring me that I don't know what I'm talking about and that that price is fine. But I don't, it seems a little low. But if he comes back when he has full understanding of what this actually means, then then we'll talk about it again, about nailing down a number. Yeah, I think that's all, the only place I'm at with it. It's 40 years of in-house bookkeeping. So be careful, just be sensitive to me when I say passing that baton. I kind of go like this and then pull it back, go like this, pull it back. What about this? What about that? Have we thought about this? Have we haven't thought about that? And a few of the have we thought about, Gary reassured me. And a few of the have we thought about, Gary said, we need to think about that. So that's kind of where we're at. Yeah.
So when Gary mentioned 550 to 650 a month, is that like, I'm gonna assume that's like on an ongoing thing. Is there gonna be an initial upfront bulk cost of him taking over and figuring everything out?
No.
Believe it or not, that's a great question. And his answer to that was he feels like that's that's doing business in a sense. Like he has to have that initial go in order to be able.
Well, I would expect a higher price for the first couple of months, probably.
I would too. That's why I keep kind of doing this with him and kind of saying, wait a minute. Because I would want him, if we're going to do this, then I want the benefit of having Mr. Kate come to meetings that are discussing things that I don't necessarily have to be a genius on and be a guru of accounting. And so if he is working with us, then I would want him to be a part of some of the meetings even to talk through things. Y'all have questions. We've talked about fund balance so many times. I still don't feel like we've arrived at a warm fuzzy feeling. So I see benefit there. I'm very selfish, just to be clear. I have work for Nancy to do. If we could do that and someone else would do this other thing for less than $10,000 a year, it's really hard for me to look at y'all and go, this is a bad idea. It's just simply, it's a good idea. I guess the fear.
It also takes some of the, opens up transparency. So
Yeah,
that an
I
outside
agree.
firm is doing the.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll tell you something that you guys may know this. I've never been in the accounting side of things. I feel like with Nancy, that I didn't know she was back there. I didn't want to talk about it like that. I feel like it hovers over her because it's financial stuff. And so I feel like when I have talks with her about appraisal stuff, she is just knocking it out of the park. And then when we talk about financial stuff, there's a little bit of a stress, the same way you sit down at the table with your spouse and talk about financials and all of a sudden it's like, we got everything right here? Are we missing anything? Is this right? Is that right? It's that kind of a feeling. And so if we alleviated that, I do have to tell you all, I don't want to alleviate it and then fail an audit from, you know what I mean? I don't want that to happen because we don't fail our audits. So.
Like, all things are possible, unfortunately, when you dig into 40 years of who knows what.
Yeah, Gary mentioned that about finding a baseline of like it's not as simple as us saying, here's the number, start from here. Like he'll have to do the work to find out if the number we're reporting is all of that makes me pull the baton back. Because,
I just have a question again. I don't know any backstory. I'm sorry. I don't know,
No.
but you said that a lady retired or was doing all of this, and now that Nancy is doing all this, did we fill that other position, or are we still down a position and this fund could come from that?
we're down a position. We're gonna, and, what I feel like the answer to the board was, as long as I'm interim, then we need to live being down a position. And then when the decision's made for a chief, then that chief, I believe, will want to hire a customer service person to fill.
But again, just to clarify, we were having a finance person before, so
We
two
were.
different roles.
So
You would want to
Nancy-
hire for a different role
We would
in
want,
the future.
in the future, we would not have, Nancy would have, in my way of thinking, Nancy would alleviate Val's workload. Val is a big comp time person. She has lots of comp time. She has lots of hats. Nancy can do part of her job. So there would be we would sort of spread out the workload. And I think the two biggest areas that are going to exist for us are going to be processing exemptions in a timely manner, are going to be letting people know if they've been if their exemption's been accepted, which is not legislated, but letting them know if it's been denied, which is legislated. And that all the red flags in this office tend to point around customer service, getting really, really good at that, and not making our two ladies up front work like they're in a casino all day long. You know, they're just like all day long, it's this, it's that, and so something's there.
If we don't have Mr. Kate handle the accounting, is Nancy gonna stay on doing that?
She will. We won't have an option.
Is that a different position that would be
No.
filled later, or would she be the ultimate step into and that's her job?
I think that would just end up being, it seems to me, from what I can tell, Kevin, is that job is actually kind of big. Because it also has,
It is.
it's very deed specific too. So we have a company that does our deeds. But let's say we got 3,900 deeds. Let's say 15% of them are trouble. So whatever 15% of 3,900, that seat is also having to research, why is this deed not clear? Because we have a company that does our deeds, but they can't, they stop at a certain point of research. And they basically say, this is too much for us to figure. And some deeds are just cumbersome. So that's what she's doing right now. So she's doing financial and she's doing a lot of deed work. If she wasn't doing financial, we would start offloading Val. And we would move Val into something else. I do feel like, I'll stop talking in just a second. I do feel like that some of the stuff we're talking about makes more sense with a chief appraiser that doesn't have the word interim in front of it. Like, I'm just saying the way I think, because like right now I'm administrating and appraising. So what does that mean? That means like, that's not normal. I'm working through analyzing data, but I'm also helping with all the administration. So it's not, and then when I said earlier to get sped up, what happens is I kind of start to become a jerk because I start to feel it and I start pushing back on everybody and saying, even good ideas. I start saying, hey, that's a great idea. Leave me alone.
Do we know how long it will take Gary to get us a letter?
He said he could have us
Gary told me that he wants to only start first of the second quarter,
which is
April
April
1st.
1st.
He said
So,
that would be the best we could do.
yeah.
And I'm happy he said that. That made me do that, you know.
And you said he's going to be rebuilding the books or something, what did you mean by that?
No,
He explained to me that it won't be, it doesn't make sense from an accounting standpoint to start on April 1st, but not have a history of books.
Mm-hmm.
So he will need us to provide him with a history of books so that he can build up, so that when he does take the reins, he has the history behind him.
Right.
So it's that idea.
Makes sense.
and we had, I talked to him today, maybe after you. And we do have things like, we have liabilities and we have certain things like this that are kind of, you know, we're not necessarily clear on what they are. We have, I know that, I spoke with Jeff, who's the auditor, and we have reserve funds that we're supposed to keep X amount of dollars in. We don't, if we decide not to keep those, and we have a reserve for building maintenance, for legal and all of these things. If we're not going to do it, he said we have to make a board decision not to have that. So we're out of compliance with our own accounting right now. I don't know how we pass the audit in regards to that. I had to go ask him about that. So Gary is needs time to look at that, and he's worked with this, he's worked with our audit firm in the past. So he knows what they're good at and pitfalls too.
I would think targeting for a baseline would be somewhat predicated on, our oldest significant, asset, starting that depreciation schedule. But I mean, I think this makes sense. I mean, from a division of labor standpoint.
I like the idea. I just would advocate that we table it until we get the actual terms.
Oh,
of
absolutely, I was
engagement.
going to, we were just going to discuss.
Yeah.
There's no action to be taken.
Yes, no, actually, I don't have anything for you.
My only other question would be, as far as budgetary concerns go, does it fit in the budget?
Yeah, I've looked at that. I think, it's one of the things I don't have my arms around completely, but I believe the way the budget is set up right now is we're saving roughly $8,000 a month off of our budget by, it's part of Mike's salary.
Plus you're down a position.
Right, and it's there's some trickle down from Mike's, benefits, insurance and stuff like that. So we're right around $8,000 a month in savings. So if Gary was, like he says, $8,000 a year, then 1 month would allot for that money.
And if he doesn't start till April,
Then we have extra money
then we're
there.
covered there.
And even if we, oh, go ahead.
Unrelated necessarily to that, but again, I'm trying to comprehend, are we 2 positions short, the chief appraiser and this financial person?
No.
Well, the way that it worked is like Mike left and then I slid into Mike's role.
Right.
And then I'm doing, so we're 1 person short. We're 1 person short. It remains to be seen. You could put that 1 person short
So
in any
if-
spot. We're
If you
actually,
weren't chief appraiser, we would only be short a chief appraiser.
that's exactly
If you
right.
were interim.
But you could say, since I'm chief appraiser, you're short a deputy.
A deputy.
Yes.
But
Okay.
in the way I think about it, since I'm at the beginning, I said 1 person, 2 jobs. I like to tell y'all we're actually short customer service. But the truth is that all depends on what y'all do. Like if you hire another chief, then we'll be at 10 and the customer service person won't get hired unless y'all were, unless this board agreed to increase this to 11.
So we filled the finance position I asked about earlier.
We did.
We did.
Oh, you know what might be a little confusing is we filled it in mid-year,
Nancy slid over into that
in
position.
mid-year, yeah.
And so that is.
But nobody took her position.
They did not,
That
no.
was a new position I had last year in order to do this. Am I right about that?
We didn't get any
I
position.
got it.
We
Yeah.
did.
They added this, she had a
Okay, hang
split
on,
year,
hang on,
sorry.
let's ask- The year before, we added a new position to prepare for this. So the reality is, if I'm correct, is what you just said, right? We added that new position the
No,
year
it's-
before.
No, what we had asked for was a new position. Now we're going back 2 budgets. We asked for a new position. The board said no. It was a weird day because Mike was sick that day. So,
So that was out, that was 2023.
yeah, so I count 2024 as the one we just did. So that would be 2 budgets.
Okay, so that's what, okay, but really to answer the question about,
2024, we asked for an 11th employee and y'all said no.
but in 2022, and so we filled it in 2023.
No, in 2023, we asked for a position, the board said no. And so, what we did was we asked Nancy to prep, for half a year. Right? Isn't that right? We asked Nancy. to put
Okay,
that
so-
on.
That sounds right.
But I'm
So,
talking-
back then.
But we did have a new position in they, maybe not in 20, I don't know when it was approved,
Yeah,
but
that,
we did.
Colleen, you may be
approve the
right.
position.
You could be right. The other day I
That was
said we
to
didn't.
shadow,
Yeah.
people who were, that we
Right.
knew were gonna be leaving.
Right. And I hate going off the top of my head. If y'all
No, I
remember,
get it, I get it.
the other day
And
I
I'm
said
trying to
we
help
didn't
fill
have
in some information for her, because I think she's concerned that
It's not
now
just
there
her,
are two
Colleen, it's
positions.
me too. Maybe, can I ask the question this way?
Okay,
How many total positions are authorized right now? 10. And how many current employees are there? 9. So there's one vacancy.
okay.
so the way I look at this, sir, is this. Until the board makes a decision on who's gonna be the chief,
Right,
this person needs to stay over here.
okay,
And when that decision's made, we're either gonna get the chief and to make 10,
right,
or we're still gonna have 9.
right.
And then I would be coming to the board and saying, this is what I would like to see.
And my understanding, if I could just restate it to make sure I understand it correctly, if we're considering you as the chief appraiser position right now, even though it's just an interim,
Yes, sir.
the position that's currently vacant is the deputy chief.
That is
And
technically
that
true.
you're potentially considering recommending down the road, replacing the deputy chief with a customer service person.
Well, what I would do is I would slide a person in the office into deputy chief, slide a person into the office
Understood.
into that spot,
I
and
got
then
it.
that would free up. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. So we're all keeping in mind that the deputy chief must have certain certifications.
That they have.
Do we have somebody
Yes, ma'am.
here? Okay, great.
Yeah.
If I could throw my 2 cents in on bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are you
so,
qualified?
yes, I am.
Oh, excuse me.
By the way, I am.
Just kidding.
So really it's my 5 cents then. Okay.
yes, and then
All right,
Should I write
so,
down?
and yes, it's been my experience, and especially with the advent of QuickBooks, and I like bookkeepers, I really do, don't get me wrong about that. But when you, this office has a specific technical duty that is your mission.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I feel, especially if there's only 9, and I know that sounds nasty to say, but if you come from an organization, where you have 2,500 employees, 9 is like, and so it is very easy for an outside CPA to pick this group up, and it's not a problem. It's nothing for him. In
That's what he
QuickBooks,
says.
okay, it's nothing for him, I guarantee you that. And at the same time, when I'm hearing that the person that we kind of thought could do the job and slide in is uncomfortable doing it,
I didn't say that.
okay.
I just say that as someone who's managing her, I recognize. Nancy would never say that. I recognize it.
Okay.
That's why I looked to see if she was
Okay,
here.
I'm
I'm
not
hoping
sure,
she's not
she may
listening.
not be uncomfortable, but you as the interim chief appraiser are uncomfortable. Somebody's uncomfortable
Well,
here, okay, or
I'm
she's
not-
not qualified, let's put it that way, let's back up, I don't wanna put words in anybody's mouth, but let's put it this way. When she applied for the job, did she have the qualifications for a QuickBooks bookkeeper? On her resume, did she have qualifications for a book, okay?
I don't know.
That's a concern for me, and it has been, and so now I'm speaking a little bit here. Is, when we hire and fire and replace people, we traditionally, and I get it, our policy is to promote from within and grow our own, I understand that. But there are technical positions that not everybody can just do that. And if we are advertising for someone with a set of qualifications, and that's what the job description requires, we cannot simply just take someone and shadow them for 6 months and go, okay, you're a bookkeeper. It's not fair to them, first and foremost. It's not. And I've worked in organizations that have done that. And that is not fair to that employee, first and foremost. Second of all, it's really not fair long-term, let's say, to the supervisor who doesn't have bookkeeping abilities either. So, and don't take this wrong, but it's kind of don't know squared. You don't know that she doesn't know, and then who's
Sure.
ultimately responsible?
Sure.
When you have a CPA firm who's more than willing to take on your QuickBooks, and by the way, it makes it much easier for your auditor to be discussing with another technical person versus trying to discuss someone who is not trained. So, and that's exactly what tied that into Attorney Steve Fisher was saying. How beautiful it is for an attorney to talk to someone like Eamon Burke, let's say, who has no legal background experience. It makes things flow better. So my guess is our auditor probably gonna prefer working with a CPA. It kind of frees you up a little bit. You're probably gonna get a lot better reports, you're gonna get timely documents, because that's what those guys do 40 hours a week. That's their specialty. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
I get what you're saying, you know, there's a lot of change going on all at once kind of around here.
Yeah.
And so, but, my experience again is, you let the professionals do their job. Like, I wouldn't go to an attorney for a root canal. So why would I want to go to, an appraiser to do my bookkeeping? But I do want to, you know, have full faith in y'all's appraisal ability. I wouldn't go to a CPA and ask them to appraise my house. So having said that, I'd like to see us pursue that. It saves us, quite a bit of money. I think it reduces, I think it helps chief appraiser do his job.
Potentially, yeah. Potentially.
And so Gary would deliver every month to the board statements and a financial report. So that would relieve any sort of thing about, you know, the chief appraiser having to feel like, oh, now I gotta produce financial documents. That would just be taken off of
Yep.
their plate completely. So I think the idea is that to kind of piggyback, and then I know we can give somebody else the opportunity, but that the appraisal district, we want to be able to focus on appraising and customer service.
Right.
And that the more things that we can do to relieve those sort of orbital, whatever, services from the appraisal district. And at the end of the day, the board itself is the one who is financially on the hook for any misfeasance. It's in that way, since it's us, it takes you off the hook too. It takes the person in your position off the hook. Absolutely. And it's like, I kind of finished on what Kevin said. It's really about financial transparency. And it just, I believe it makes it easier across the board. So if anybody else wants to say anything in closing, we'll close that agenda item. So on the agenda item, discuss and tell, there's no action to be taken. We just discussed. I just, if I can I say something in sort of a chairman's report, or would I need to have that on the agenda?
Is it a general announcement about activities or?
No, sir, it is not. That's fine.
Okay.
Um,
You can ask for an item to be placed on a future agenda.
okay, thank you, sir. I would like to, on a future agenda, the next one needs to be solidifying the job qualifications that we're looking for. So I will.
The chief appraiser.
And the chief appraiser, thank you, sir. So I will work and I will bring that to y'all's for y'all's approval. And then that agenda item will also include any costs associated with Indeed, listservs, or things like that. So it will be a full package. All right, and on a future agenda item, we have, pass this up. We have been doing, passing down to, we have been doing the selection of board members incorrectly this year. I'd like to, we need to start doing it correctly. This is a kind of a cheat sheet, a 2-pager that has just some key terms in it. It's referenced, and there'll be a board item in the future, pushing for this resolution. The reason behind this board item is I have had Fulton express interest of having a say so again. The city of Rockport, I spoke with Vanessa last week about this, and she expressed it. Aransas Pass ISD has expressed it. The city of Aransas Pass has expressed it. That the entities are expressing a desire to be able to participate in putting directors on the board. Since the state statutes require us to follow this certain process, I think it's in the best interest of this board going forward that we come into compliance with the statutes. So there'll be a agenda item.
And if I can put a fine point on one of the things you said, I'm not convinced that the process being used in Aransas is wrong. Okay, there is a statutory process as he's describing, but he used the word incorrect, and that's the part I'm quibbling with. I'm not sure that it is incorrect. State law allows counties to adopt an alternate process. We just haven't been able to find any documentation showing that the county ever adopted the process that's currently being used. It may exist. We may be doing it perfectly legal the way we're doing it right now. But we're not following the way it's set out in state law. And so since we don't have proof that what we're doing is right, Jeff's recommendation is let's fall back on what the statute says. Is that accurate?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. So if you look at this, it says you can participate, the number of candidates each board, it gives you a list. There's a whole nother voting criteria that's based for conservation districts, and I've highlighted it there, and I will provide another document to you guys on specifically how those go about doing it. So at that point, do I have a motion? Anybody else want to have anything or?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is anybody having any issues with me mailing the brief and blind copying? Does that make
No.
anybody uncomfortable?
I
Are you
love
okay
it.
with
I'm
that?
not on it, but
Sure,
sure.
we can be okay with that as long as I blind copy and I have a little disclaimer at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I also want to send out the 2024 Board of Director manual from the comptroller. I just feel like that's the best thing for me to do is to get that out. I'm done. All right.
All right, I have a motion do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I think we have a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? No.
We done see.
Thank you, guys. How long did this meeting take? This is
65 minutes.
forever.
You should have
Go to
like
the
a
school
goal
board
of
one.
beating the minute.
Yeah, right. I gave that up for Lent.
That document for the bank.
Yes,
Could I have
sir.
that?
Yes, sir. I handed it to you, and did you give it to,
I don't know. I think.
You gave
Did you
it
take
to
it from
me.
me?
and is it a signed copy?
Oh, it's right here.
That's right.
It's right here.
Yes, sir, that's yours.
Okay, right here. Okay.
And also, Nikki, could you please?
Yeah, I just need this one, right?
No,
Maybe so, right?
Yeah.
Sure, we got plenty of those here.
You don't stay on file here, huh?
Pardon me?
You stay on file here.
Yes, ma'am. Both of those. That. Do
I,
we notarize, do we?
Only one.
Okay.
State
Do you
deposit
want-
doesn't-
ma'am, do you want to come through here and do it? Is that good? I'm sorry, I don't know. I was not here
Okay,
when you were,
ma'am.
when you were introduced.
You do, ma'am.
Do I?
You do.
Then I'm really sorry.
Yes.
It's been a long time.
You was busy this morning. Apparently. There's gonna be I think there's a duel set up for 3 p.m. at Austin Street. That was the commissioner's court? Yeah,
Are we,
Oh, we
Are we
talk
supposed to-
about the biennial?
are we?
yeah,
Yes,
oh, yeah,
ma'am.
oh, yeah, no, they're on YouTube, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said that.
No, because it needs to be brought up. Especially since I talked about it this morning. Have you seen the video yet?
Yeah, I know, we need to,
Okay.
a future agenda, but.
Is the commissioner's court video up?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know when it was. Not gonna be all morning.
I know.
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it's getting worse.
Dark days ahead.
Yeah.
Is the video on?
I have no idea. I mean, it's showing up there.
Okay, all right, the meeting is over.
Okay. Is there time?
No, there is not. Hold on.
Thomas, be careful going back.
I will.
Take care of yourself. Larry, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm the public.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Mhm.